Hello, guys.
Hello and good afternoon.
Yes, happy Sunday. I want to introduce myself in case some of you guys are watching out there and you don't know who we are. My name is Pablo Marte, and this is my beautiful, lovely, incredible, amazing, awesome wife.
Wow. Mariceli Malte. That was kind of confusing there.
Have you never been introduced like that?
No.
Okay.
I'm just plain old Mari, you know.
No, you're not playing at all. So we are making a video series called Power Marriage, and we've been doing this for a couple of months already.
Yeah, awesome.
And it's called Power Marriage, and that's because we are working to get our marriage to the point where we can call it a power marriage.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No, we're just working, and this is kind of the steps that we're taking, and we're hoping that we can help other couples and marriages out there to join in and work on having a power marriage.
Yeah, it takes time and dedication.
Yes, and hopefully I'm not the only weirdo. I have in my coffee cup. Does anybody else out there drive in their car with a regular open coffee cup like this?
Maybe people that are rushing constantly, running out of their home.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't always drive with that cup. I have coffee mugs, right, with the lids, of course. They keep the coffee warm as well. But yeah, I guess today I was kind of rushing, right, to get into the car, and I just had my cup of coffee. I was like, I'm not leaving this coffee.
Yep.
It's so good. But yeah, so we're here in the car and we're driving, and that's what we want to talk about today, rushing. And I was just thinking, look at these cars here in the way. I wish I could film this. Well,
No, I don't think so.
no, I'm not going to turn the camera on, but I'm just saying it's cars in the way. But the kind of what I'm trying to say is that you have to, while you're driving, you also, right, we're rushing everywhere, and while you're driving, you need to focus and pay attention, right? Make sure that you can avoid an accident, right? So you got to be aware of what you're doing, even though you're rushing.
I think that's kind of hard to be aware, and when you're rushing.
Our society has become this rushing society where we're rushing for everything. And it's funny, right now we are in Florida. We're in Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We live in Winter Haven, Florida. And it's a big difference from where you originally come from New York, and me too, from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the only reason why I escaped New York, let's say, but it kind of was one of the reasons to slow down a little bit, because I was, rushing so much. Everything over there is such a rush.
Yeah.
You're rushing for everything. And yet we're here in Winter Haven, where it's a lot slower than New York, and yet we still have our lives of rushing. We rush for everything. We rush in the morning, right, to get up and get ready, right, to rush in the bathroom and take a shower and brush our teeth and, have breakfast, and, rushing to get to work and rushing at work, let's say, to get to your lunchtime, and we're rushing for everything. Then rushing to get back home, rushing in traffic, rushing to do, whatever activities you do afterwards, rushing to go to the supermarket to get our food.
Mm-hmm.
We're just rushing for everything, right? We even rush so much that we're so busy with our lives that, right, we don't have time to cook and sit down and eat. We pretty much just, go to the drive-thru and, pick up some fast food and get going, and everything is a rush, and to just kind of go fast, and so we can rush on to the next thing. We're rushing to rush on to the next thing because our lives are so rushed these days, and and we wanted to talk about that today. And even with fast food, we were talking about, so you get your fast food and you get everything in containers that are disposable, so you don't have to wash them or anything, right? You finish eating, you just toss it out, and you're good to go.
That's true. And pretty much, I guess, with disposable, for me, it means that we're constantly throwing things out. Like you said, the fast food place, you get these containers that are disposable. Sometimes I save them because I kind of,
It's because you're Latina, right?
Yeah, I'm Latina, so I kind of save them, and I put food there and I warm it up, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they get ugly. So right away I got to throw that away. So that's kind of our daily lives, I guess. We're constantly disposing of things, and we dispose our cell phones, you know, because we want to get the brand new iPhone. I don't even know what the new one is. Is it XX or SX, or I don't even know what they are. Or even in our furniture in our home, you know, if it's not in the latest trend that's going around, if we got to have the new colors, you know, the grays and the blues, and life gets so overwhelming with rushing. You know, we start rushing our lives, we dispose of our lives, and pretty much that's how we do in our marriage as well. We start disposing of our marriages.
So, and people are not disposable,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure God didn't make it that way for people to be disposable. We were talking about that in our last video, how we are to love Him first above all things, and then love others as we love ourselves.
Mhm.
And so people are not disposable. And it seems like uh, nowadays, right, you're in your marriage and things start to get difficult. Things are not going maybe the way you think they should be, or
You're not
uh,
happy.
you're not happy. There's a little sign of trouble somewhere.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, it's like,
Well,
well, my marriage is disposable. Hey,
gotta
let
get
me,
rid of it.
you know, get an upgrade. Let me go trade it in and go for. It might be easier to just to just start a whole nother relationship than to work on the one you have. And I mean, and that's really how people think, and it's sad, nowadays.
Well, that's the new society we live in. And like you said in the beginning, that we're constantly running, we're constantly
Rushing.
rushing,
Yeah.
and we do not stop to actually listen to our inner voice, which is God. And we also miss God in our relationships. We miss God when He actually tells you, hey, you got to stop for a minute and realize what's going on in your marriage or what's going on in your life. Because, like you said, in the morning, we're rushing. Do we even take time to say, hi, thank you, God, for this day? Thank you for the morning. Do we even do that these days?
Yeah. I know we've been intentional
Mm-hmm.
about doing that lately, and other things that we've been doing to work on our marriage, of course. If you guys watched any of the previous
Yeah.
videos here on Power Marriage, uh, but yeah, but we just want to kind of talk about that today, and talk about rushing, right? Everything is rushing, and we can dispose of things so easily because it's time for the new thing, it's time for something different, right? But the reality is, people are not disposable. We shouldn't
No.
rush with people either.
Mm-mm.
uh, I think God put us here to help people, and He put our marriage here, gave us each other so that we can be an example
Yeah.
uh, to others, right? Of, of pretty much of the power of Christ in pretty much that it can be seen. I feel like I'm stuttering here. I'm stuck.
Mm.
But so that it can be seen through your marriage, and that's what we're trying to do here in our marriage, is to be an example to others, and so that we're not rushing, and we're not being living in a disposable society. We are in that society, but so that we're not living the way that people are disposable, so that we show it through our marriage.
But you have to be intentional about your time. Like we've learned in Transforming Your Marriage, it actually tells you to be intentional, to sit down and make a schedule for your family. Because,
Yeah.
like a lot of couples, they say, well, our kids have baseball, football, basketball, cheerleading, dance, and that's all you hear. Or we got to go here to this time, or we got to go to this event, and they're so overwhelmed
Hmm.
with their lives, and they're so overwhelmed with all the activities that, guess what happens? You start putting God in this little corner back there, where, well, He's over there, He knows what I'm doing, He knows that I'm doing this for my kids. You know what? Kids these days don't need all those activities. In your marriage, you need to take the time to actually see what's going on and take time for God, so that way we're not rushing or we're not disposing of our spouses because we're not making that time. We're not sitting down to actually see what's going on in our lives. And that's kind of sad.
Definitely. Think of it like this: how can you rush something that is supposed to last forever?
Yeah, well, a lot of people rush through life, rush through their days. They wake up rushing and finish rushing. They go to sleep rushing. They wake up rushing. And aren't you tired of doing that? I mean, I would get tired of being tired, just rushing all the time and knowing that I got to be somewhere, but I'm constantly late. That I have to start to change. I have to start doing those positive habits, you know?
Yeah. But like with a marriage, right? You made a promise and a vow
Hmm.
till death do you part. It's something that is going to last for a long time, all right? And you can't rush something that is going to last a long time. A marriage is not supposed to be something rushed, right? You don't just rush and say, okay, it's done. It's going to last forever now, right? That's not the way it works.
Well,
With anything that you want to last forever, it takes planning, it takes work, it takes maintenance, it takes pretty much it takes hard work and being
mm-hmm.
intentional about it, and just think about that, and if you compare it to something else, right? I mean, we're here in this earth for a short amount of time, and then we're going to an eternal life, and that there's not going to be any rush there, you know.
Mm-mm.
The rush is here now, of course, right? We're rushing, but how can you rush your salvation,
Mm.
right? Can you rush that? Can you just go right now, rush and do it, and it's done?
Well, I mean,
It's a way, it's something to think
it's a
about.
way of life.
Yeah.
Um, Salvation is something that is intentional. You know, people say, "Oh, once I'm saved, I'm okay." You know, I'm gonna be saved no matter what. And unfortunately, that's not what the word tells me. You know, black and white. The word does not tell me that's how it is. So it's kind of again, we fall into these new days today. You know,
Yeah.
the new trend is you say that and that's how it is. So I want to go to that church because that church, that's what they tell me, and
Hmm.
pretty much that's how we live our lives. I heard that church over there. Once you're saved, well, I'm gonna go to that church because that way I could do whatever I want and it's easy.
Hmm.
Okay, so I go to that church because I could divorce my husband in that church if I don't like him. So that's how society has become today,
Yeah.
where it's okay to go to the next place to dispose of what you have, then start a new thing, and that one's not working. So we dispose of that one because that was not the one. Well, let me go somewhere else. And pretty much that's how we live our lives these days. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So some mosquitoes over here in the woods, huh?
Well, you gotta,
Uh, yeah. So you definitely, something to think about, right? You can't rush something that you want to last forever,
no.
like your marriage. It's gonna last
Mm-hmm.
forever. You can't rush it. So definitely be intentional about it. Work on your marriage every single day. Don't dispose of it.
No.
Don't be in a rush with it either, right? Don't say, well, we're gonna go on a date. Let's go rush there. Let's go rush back. Uh, You know, let's rush through the whole thing. Slow down a little bit. Slow down. You want it to last forever. Slow down a little bit with the things that really matter. Like my wife was saying, right? You got to take the kids everywhere. You got extracurricular activities. Everybody's so busy. Don't leave God out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely include him in there, and things will start working out a lot better, and they will work out also better for your marriage as well. And so, comment, let us know what you think about that. Can you rush your marriage?
Hmm.
I don't think so, but let me know in the comments what you think. And we just want to say we're here at Rock shooting facility, or I don't, it's a public use, land use. I
Yeah.
didn't get the name here. It's our first time being here. And
So,
hopefully you guys don't hear those gunshots too loud in the background. We came a little further away, but there's a shooting range. Everybody's shooting. I wish I would have,
hmm.
brought a gun and some bullets so I can go shoot as well. But it sounds like they're having a lot of fun over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I hope you guys, have something to think about, and let us know in the comments what you think. And yeah, slow down a little bit. Don't rush so much. And hopefully you guys have a great Sunday. And my wife doesn't know this, but we're gonna walk over there a little bit, so we'll just show you guys that you can
No,
see a little bit of that walking, huh? You don't.
no, because I
She's not
have
a walker like
shoes.
that.
No.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.